Mary, get the ding, ding, ding ready because we're about to be about.
Yeah, we got one right here.
We got to scrap it up. Let me take my jacket off.
Yeah, all right.
Get ready for this.
So, Rob G, the Lions had their 11-game winning streak snapped at home in Detroit.
The delight you had in your voice when you said that.
I'm just saying, the Bills came in and put they worked the Lions over like a burger and fries yesterday.
Or Kids Meal El Pollo Loco.
Okay, there you go. And Rob G, it was more than a loss. We saw Dan Campbell, the embattled Lions coach, and I call him that because, yes, last week people were mad at me when I said he was a bad coach and didn't put his team in he puts his team in harm's way. And then right on cue, Dan Campbell does something that not just Rob Parker, a lot of people question. You know that. Not just me, Rob G. What did he do in that 48-42 loss?
Yeah, it says a lot about the play call when it's easily the biggest headline from the game. When you consider they just had a massive win streak snapped. Josh Allen goes superhuman again. But the first headline from this game
is about the call.
That Dan Campbell made very controversially about 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They had just scored a touchdown to get within 10, 38-28. And Dan Campbell says, you know what? Let's roll the dice. I'm about to call an onside kick. Not only did they not recover the onside kick, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise. It's only like a 7% chance.
Right. It just doesn't work that often.
But to add insult to injury, Mac Hollins, the Buffalo Bills wide receiver, recovers the onside kick, runs it back to the 5-yard line. Josh Allen scores one play later, 10-point games back to 17, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And let me say this, Kelvin. I'm going to start before you go ahead and defend him, because that's all you ever do on this show is defend Dan Campbell, which is what we're calling him here on The Odd Couple, or at least I am. Yesterday, without question, Dan Campbell lost the NFL Coach of the Year award. He lost it yesterday, not because they lost and had their 11-game winning streak snap, or that they gave up their defense, and I get all the injuries, gave up 48 points, all that other stuff. Is because that call on the onside kick changed a lot of people who were buying into Dan Campbell, who thought they loved his aggressiveness. I even seen Mike Greenberg, who doesn't criticize anybody, question finally Dan Campbell. And he doesn't take anybody to task. So I was shocked to even see Greeny put his 2 cents in. And I think that yesterday people saw Dan Campbell and said, this dude is reckless. Maybe this guy, you know what? He's the best and biggest cheerleader in the NFL. They got 2-star coordinators running that team, and Dan Campbell didn't come off like, oh, this is just aggressive and we like it. They thought, yikes, this guy didn't learn about last year in the NFC Championship game, which everybody thought was automatic that the Lions would return, and that's why I always say, don't blow those opportunities. You'll look back and go, my God, they were so close to going to the Super Bowl, and now another 15 years has gone by. It don't happen.
I agree with that.
Every night or every year. It's really, really hard. And I think people really, there was a shift yesterday. I saw a lot of people who were on the Dan Campbell bandwagon kind of look at him sideways and went, dude, okay, now you're getting a little beside yourself. And whether or not you want to blame losing the entire game, and I think the logic behind it doesn't make sense. Well, we don't have a defense, and they can't stop the Bills. So let's put the Bills closer and put the onus on the defense even more. So you're telling me with 12 minutes to go, the Bills will never.
You missed the onus.
No, the Bills will never get the ball again.
No,
is that what's going to happen?
The onus is that this rarely happens, but I'm hoping this is the rare time that you get the onside kick.
Right, but they get the ball first and goal at the 5 is what I'm saying, and you put the defense in a bad spot.
Now, all right, so let's work backwards here. One, nobody knew. How many times do you watch an onside kick? 90% of the time, the guy, the other team gets it, they fall on it, it's a scrum, and then they get the ball, that's it. Hardly ever do you see someone tip it to themselves and run it back to the 5. So that's the anomaly more so than him going for it. Number 2, you mentioned it. They literally made Josh Allen look like the greatest football player to ever touch a football. And the team could not stop them. So the idea that, man, we're making a small little comeback, we cannot stop them. Oh, and by the way, they can't stop us. He went for it hoping, hey, maybe there's a percentage that we can get it, because believe it or not, the percentage was higher of them getting it than them stopping Josh Allen this particular game.
But with 12 minutes to go, what the Bills never getting the ball again is what I'm trying to say to you.
Right, but if you go down there, you're down 10, you score, your hope is eventually maybe
you're going to do another.
Maybe no.
You're going to do another onside kick.
If you score within 2 or 3 minutes,
okay,
you know, I'm assuming that's.
But then the Bills get the ball again.
Right.
So then you're going to say they're going to stop them then.
Right.
They're not going to stop them here where you give them the ball on the.
So what you're saying is you're going to have to onside kick it at some point.
Well, you'd have to do it again.
Right.
You have to do it every single time.
The point is he's trying to come back from 21 down with 2 minutes left in the third. And to me, the bigger takeaway is in a game where they already come in 15 players down defensively. That's insane.
But my thing is you can't use that because they lost by 6.
Hold on, I'll let you
They were in the game.
Hold on, I'll let you. That's the point. I walk away from this game going, wow, this team is 12-2. This team has shown me whether they're getting blown out, 21 points by one of the best teams in the NFL, every other team throws in the towel. Man, it's just not our night. We're losing players back and forth. This team fights all the way back to have the nerve to almost get that onside kick at the end, and who knows what happens with 11 seconds left in the timeout. So my point is it was not an optimal situation. You kick it off, they go down and score, maybe kick a field goal, lose. Here's the other thing. Let's say they don't score, but they use 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. Now you're down 4 or 5 minutes that you just lost.
But you just said that the defense can't stop them. And that's the
So I'm saying you're trying to do whatever you can to win this game.
No, but you're saying you can't go, I don't trust my defense. I'm going to do an onside kick with 12 minutes to go. But then later on, when the game's on the line, we'll stop them. When it's either you
have to stop them. The point is to get back in the game.
No, you're already in the game with 10 only down by 2 scores with 12 minutes to go.
And the point is,
so why can't you get the first stop? Is what I'm saying to you.
What I'm saying
it makes no sense.
What I'm saying is that is not optimal. I'm not saying that you have to do an onside kick at that point, but to act like that's the thing that cost them the game makes me go, did you watch the game?
Yeah, because they gave up. That made it a 3-score game.
That made
it a 3-score game.
And to act like Dan Campbell, who has his team at 12-2, who had his team at 12-5 last year, so they improved and got even better. Act as if he's all of a sudden
12-5 when it's all over.
And okay, fine. If I told you you'd be 12-5 twice with this team with these injuries, that's to me the takeaway is this team continues to fight. This team never has thrown in the towel when they easily could have. Your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. You easily could have. It's just not our day. Hey, we're sitting here. Maybe we only got 1 loss. And they fought back. So, again, I'm not saying that's the best decision. I think it's a decision that was a gamble in a position where he's saying we're trying to find a way back in this game when we're going up against going to be the MVP in an offense that has been 3 straight games of 40 points.
He ain't lock up no MVP. Go look at those stats.
That's a conversation for
we'll
do that in a little bit.
That narrative is so false when you look at the stats.
I told you
Kevin O'Connell is going to be the coach of the year.
I told you
if the Vikings win today, they'll be 12-2 just like the Lions. And the best part is nobody had any expectations for them. I mean, 0. Like the Lions went to the NFC Championship game. So they already came back with their squad and their team. The Vikings, how in the world they lose their quarterback?
Wait, what are we talking about the Vikings for?
Because I'm talking about that's why Dan Campbell lost the Coach of the Year award. I believe.
Well, I mean, there are other teams. There are other coaches that were right there.
Not where the Vikings were losing.
Right, I'm
Kirk
saying
Cousins,
the Vikings
coming off of losing Kirk Cousins.
But that had been a bigger storyline throughout the whole entire year. Like Dan Campbell, expectations were there to be good. They are good. They're 12-2. And again, this is a team to me that now the injury bug has just gone crazy. I mean, it's literally ridiculous.
They're still going to Super Bowl. You said they'll be in New Orleans.
Yeah, and I didn't know they're going to keep losing players.
No, I'm asking you. Even now.
I don't know now. Okay. That's the real answer. They keep losing guys. They've now lost one of their starting running backs.
It's called football. Guys get hurt all the time.
No, name some other team that's got injured like this.
Did you watch?
However,
did you watch when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots and they lost their offensive line and Patrick Mahomes couldn't even score a touchdown? Did you watch that game?
Wait, what?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
What about it?
They lost. They didn't have the offensive line. Patrick Mahomes got sacked. And
but I mean, what's your
my
point?
point is that other teams have had injuries.
Right,
It
and so you're
happens.
asking me, I'm saying we're going to see if they get there. I know the offense can still score. I know they put up 42 on the Bills, and I know they're the number one offense. So this team absolutely still has a chance based on the offense. The defense is going to have to be a bend but don't break. And by the way, everybody they playing ain't Josh Allen, too, by the way.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. You know what's funny? None of the radio shows in Detroit called and want me on. Last week they wanted me on, but not today. I wonder why. Oh, okay.
You knew when you watched the Lions game, you knew who to tune into the Odd Couple because you knew we were about to get into it. 877-99 on Fox. Rob, we got some calls
All
about
right.
Dan Campbell getting his gamble on. Who we got?
Let's do it. Ed in Vegas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Ed?
Hey, happy holidays, gentlemen.
Yes,
What's up,
sir.
Ed? How are you?
too.
Hey, good. So, that was a great game. I just think it showed Dan Campbell's lack of maturity as a coach because you wouldn't see a Belichick or a Tomlin or a Harbaugh take that kind of chance because
But you
this
would,
is a
though.
true opportunity. Yeah, this is a true opportunity for Detroit to size up who's probably going to be their opponent in the Super Bowl. And Dan Campbell, I can understand being excited. He's an excitable guy, but you got to keep your cool and make smart choices when you're the head coach.
No doubt. You got to put your team not in harm's way all the time, and he does it too often. Jay in Georgia.
Have y'all seen the point differential?
You're on the
Lions
Odd
be
Couple.
destroying people.
Yeah, but they destroy nobody. Jay in Georgia, you're on the Odd
What's
Couple.
up, Jay?
What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, guys? First of all, I want to say happy holidays to everybody except Travis Hunter's girlfriend.
There you go.
Dang it!
We gonna talk
Let that
about
girl live!
We're going to talk about that later. That's right. She drank herself to sleep last night, according to Travis.
No, what a debacle that was. But, Rob, I'm with you. Dan Campbell got to stop being so excited. Yeah, we get it. You're an aggressive coach, but you got to know who you're playing. Because one thing about Josh Allen, he'll give you a couple of interceptions to catch. He'll give you a couple of
Right.
So just let it play out. And plus, your offense was moving up and down the field. And one thing about Buffalo's defense, they just gave up 44 to back. And Rob called a stat tamper last week.
Yes.
So you can move the ball against the Bills. Like, he had no reason to do that. He got to tighten up there. Like Ed from Vegas said, he's a little immature still. Like, we get it, dude. Like, just play football. Like,
He's trying to live up to his reputation, and that,
he's trying to
that
win
could happen
games.
sometime.
And he's done an amazing best record in 40 games except the Chiefs, the only team with the same record as the Lions. Who we got?
And did they get to the Super Bowl?
I don't know. The year ain't over yet.
Oh, okay.
Can they get there? You know it's only
Well,
December 5th, 16th,
I'm
right?
just saying,
Don't
but
be
you
asking.
say-
We ain't in New Orleans yet.
No, but
let me get to the
Are
Super
they
Bowl.
going to the Super Bowl?
They have a great chance
No,
to get
that's
to the
not what
Super
I asked
Bowl.
you. Why can't you say yes or no?
Because I'm not
Okay.
Cleo.
Ron in Birmingham,
I picked the
Alabama.
Lions Chiefs, and I
You're
still
on the
look
Odd
good.
Couple Fox Sports Red. Neither one of those
Hey,
teams
guys.
will be there. What's up,
Merry
Ron?
Christmas.
Merry
Hey, I
Christmas.
just want to put a different perspective on that game last night. I mean, I like Detroit. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a good team. I know they got a lot of injuries, but you got to remember both cornerbacks, and I think even the starting safety were out for Buffalo, right?
Yes, they had their own injuries. I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. And so everybody I hear talking about, he threw for 400 and some yards against Buffalo. Well, when you're down 14-0 from the beginning, and they're going to play a prevent.
Thank
they're not
you.
gonna let beat. So they're just throwing balls right down the middle of the field where it's open.
Right,
So,
you
yeah,
just
you
you
gotta
throw
get
the
a lot of
ball in
yards.
front of the defense. They want you to throw the ball like that.
Did y'all
That's how
just
they
see
do
Matthew
it.
Stafford light them up? What are y'all trying? I don't understand the point. Are we saying that the Buffalo Bills are all of a sudden
No.
85 Bears?
It's just-
the Buffalo Bills got lit up,
but,
and they get
but we're
lit up.
talking about I've seen this before. I watched Matthew Stafford's entire career. The Lions were down 21-0 almost every Sunday, and he would put up these big numbers, and people would go, "Oh my God,
So
look at all these
the
numbers!"
same team
Of
that by
course.
far leads the league
Of
in point
course.
differential is acting like they need that. They've been blowing everybody out all season. I don't understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no, Ron was talking about yesterday. If you're down 14-0, you can't run the ball. You got to throw it. That's
right.
all.
And they lost their Montgomery, their running back too. Dang it, this injury bug is going crazy.
Hey, it's called the National Football League.
It is.
People get hurt all the time.
They do.